The Electoral College, navigating America's unique path to the presidency. One of the most debated and misunderstood aspects of American democracy, the Electoral College. This unique system has been a fundamental part of the U.S. presidential elections since the Constitution's ratification, and yet it continues to spark controversy and confusion. Join us as we explore how the Electoral College works, delve into the reasons why it remains a hot topic of debate, and examine the real-world scenarios and implications it has caused. Chapter 1. The Mechanics of the Electoral College. The Electoral College is not a place, but a process that involves the selection of electors who formally elect the President and Vice President of the United States. Here's how it unfolds. Selection of electors. Each state gets as many electors as it has members in its congressional delegation, one for each member in the House of Representatives plus 2 senators. The District of Columbia is allocated 3 electors and treated like a state for purposes of the Electoral College under the 23rd Amendment of the Constitution. Voting. When voters go to the polls in November, they aren't actually voting directly for their preferred candidate. Instead, they cast their votes for a slate of electors pledged to that candidate. These electors are typically chosen by the political parties during state party conventions or by a vote of the party's central committee. Meeting of the electors. The electors meet in their respective states in December, a meeting called the Meeting of the Electors. They vote for President and Vice President on separate ballots, and these votes are sent to the President of the Senate, the Vice President of the U.S., and the National Archives. Official count. In January, the U.S. Congress meets in a joint session to count the electoral votes and declare the results. It takes 270 out of 538 electoral votes to win the presidency. Chapter 2. Historical context and rationale. The Founding Fathers established the Electoral College as a compromise between those who wanted the Congress to select the president and those who advocated for a democratic popular vote by qualified citizens. The system was designed to balance several factors. Federalism. The Electoral College reflects the federal character of the United States, recognizing the role and powers of the states. Balance of power. It prevents the most populous states from dominating the politics of the nation at the expense of smaller states. Slavery. Disturbingly, this system was also a pragmatic solution to empower southern states in elections without granting enslaved Africans the right to vote. Chapter 3. Controversies and criticisms. Despite its historical roots and intended purposes, the Electoral College has been the subject of ongoing criticism and controversy. Winner takes all. Most states award all their electoral votes to the candidate who wins the popular vote in that state, ignoring the proportion of voters who supported other candidates. This can and has led to situations where a candidate wins the presidency without winning the national popular vote. Disproportionate influence. Smaller states have disproportionately more power per voter than larger states due to the way electoral votes are allocated, which some argue contradicts democratic principles of equal representation. Faithless electors. Occasionally, electors do not vote for their pledged candidate, creating uncertainty and potential for manipulation. Chapter 4. Calls for reform. The debate over the Electoral College continues, with many advocating for reform or abolition. Direct popular vote. Many argue that a direct popular vote would be simpler and more democratic, ensuring that every vote counts equally in determining the president. Proportional electoral vote allocation. Others suggest reforming the system to allocate electoral votes proportionally based on the popular vote within each state, which would better reflect the will of the people. Chapter 5. Electoral College in Action. Scenarios and Implications. Through historical and contemporary scenarios, we can uncover the profound impact and the often contentious implications of this system on presidential elections. Historical controversies. The 2000 and 2016 elections. Two of the most disputed elections in recent history highlight critical debates surrounding the Electoral College. In 2000, Al Gore won the popular vote, yet lost the presidency to George W. Bush, who secured more electoral votes, particularly after the pivotal Florida recount. Similarly, in 2016, Hillary Clinton received more votes from the populace than Donald Trump, yet Trump's victory in key swing states awarded him the presidency through the Electoral College. These instances sparked intense discussions on the fairness and relevance of this system, questioning whether it truly reflects the democratic will of the American people. The specter of a tie and constitutional provisions. A less common but possible scenario is a tie in the Electoral College, where each candidate receives 269 votes. Such an event triggers a constitutional mechanism that shifts the decision to the House of Representatives. Here, each state delegation casts one vote to determine the president, exemplifying the complex checks and balances ingrained in U.S. electoral procedures, faithless electors, and the legal landscape. Another layer of complexity is added by faithless electors, those who, contrary to expectations, vote against the candidate to whom they were pledged. While historically rare, these instances have led to various legal battles aimed at ensuring electors adhere to their state's popular vote. Recent rulings by the Supreme Court have further cemented the power of states to bind electors, attempting to stabilize the electoral process. Strategic impact, swing states, and the rural-urban divide. The Electoral College significantly influences campaign strategies. Candidates often focus on swing states like Florida and Ohio, where outcomes are uncertain but electorally rich. This strategy can lead to disproportionate attention to these areas, potentially sidelining safe states where outcomes are more predictable. Additionally, the Electoral College amplifies the political voice of less populous, often rural states, which can skew national policies to favor these demographics at the expense of urban centers where the majority of the population resides. Conclusion. As we approach future presidential elections, the discussion around the Electoral College is unlikely to subside. Whether it remains a fixture of American politics or undergoes significant reform, understanding its complexities is crucial for every American voter. Thank you for joining us on this exploratory journey through the Electoral College. What are your thoughts on this system? Should it be reformed, replaced, or retained? Share your views, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content like this. Let's keep the conversation going.